we are going to go with Tyler in Indiana. Wants to. Well, actually, I'll let Tyler kind of lay out what's on Tyler's
Hello.
mind. So, how's it going, Tyler?
Good, Ma. How are you?
Doing great.
Excellent. So I just wanted to tell you about the time I was in a cult,
Oh, okay.
if that's okay. Yeah. Pretty heavy story. I already made a list of things, so I'm gonna keep it as brief as possible. But essentially, when I was a kid, for some reason I defaulted to Christianity. Maybe it's because my mom and grandma are Christian and my friends were, but I was never like super religious. But I had a close friend when I was in elementary school, and he was like super religious, and so was his family. And I realized, well, I'm always going to be religious, but I'm never going to be like him. However, as I got older, I eventually realized, hey, I'm a Christian, but I don't actually really know what it means to be a Christian because I never went to church, and I didn't know much about Christianity. I just always assumed that I was going to go to heaven when I died because I believed in God and was a good person. So as I researched when I was like maybe 13, 14, something like that, I inevitably stumbled on the paradox of soteriology, which, of course, is the study of doctrine. And my first big mountain that was impossible to jump over was that some people were saying that you had to be baptized in order to be saved, while others were saying that if you are baptized in order to be saved, then you're not going to be saved because you're doing it as a work to get into heaven, if that makes sense. So I wasn't sure what to do because if you know in the Bible, there are many verses that claim that you have to be baptized in order to be saved, but there are others that are contradictory to this. So I convinced my parents to start going to church with me, and I was baptized. But I didn't know the reason why I was being baptized. So after that, I just kept researching about my religion online. I eventually stumbled upon a video of a man talking about, he was an elderly man, talking about how he had a heart attack and went and saw himself going to hell, even though he was a Christian and saved and all of that. And that video was really ominous and serious, and it really stuck to me. But after a period of time, I kind of forgot about it. But weeks to months later, I remembered that man and was thinking, I wonder what he did differently. Like, if he genuinely died and saw himself going to hell, what did he change? What is he doing differently? So I actually did find that video again and went to his channel to discover he had thousands of videos, like over 2,000 videos. And I began watching and watching and watching. And I found myself in this kind of cyber cult. I started talking to these men on Facebook and others that followed him. Basically, he was kind of like a dandelion. He was this kind of head cult leader, and other people sprouted up that decided to, hey, I'm going to follow Jesus like this man is doing because I don't want to go to hell either. And basically the kind of things that this cult, quote unquote, taught was that you have to be perfect to go to heaven. You have to stop sinning completely. But the problem is that things that were sinful are things that every teenager loves doing, like playing video games, listening to music, watching TV, just anything like that. And practicing magic. I'm a magician. It's something I love to do, but even that was evil. And so I eventually I got to a point where I was, what's that word cognitive dissonance. Because I believed that I was going to go to hell, and I thought that I was an evil, bad person because of all these things that people were telling me every day for hours a day. And it was hell. I began falling asleep every night to the thought of hell,
So,
like imagining an eternity.
so Tyler, if I can just real quick ask, because I'm not really sure how long, and I don't want to devalue like your story, obviously, because that's probably how it would come off.
Absolutely, yeah.
I interrupt it, you know, and I don't want that to be interpreted that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to kind of streamline it, since we're getting towards the end of the show, we want to take another caller. Is this a recent type of thing of you coming out of this? Like, is this like brand new for you? Because that kind of helped me figure out where you're at.
So
headspace
it lasted when it started when I was 15, ended, I got out of it when I was 19. And then around when I was 20, I became an atheist. Now I'm 25, but I've never shared this experience like publicly.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, so let me ask you, like, and I feel bad cutting that, but
ahead.
while you're telling this, I mean,
No, you're fine.
how do you feel when you do express that? I mean, is it like, when you look at that, do you think how ridiculous that was and you're pretty affirmed at where you're at now?
Absolutely. And I think above all, I feel really stupid for having thought that. And, you know,
So
even though my
you
wife
shouldn't feel stupid.
Yeah.
You shouldn't feel stupid. Right? Because that, I mean, yeah, you could say that was a dumb thing that I believed. But imagine you didn't have this contrasting element that you're working with, right? To look back and say how dumb you think that even is. I mean, you can look at it as a good thing in one sense, that you probably help prevent you from going down a huge trail of that, right? And once you accept some type of magic or belief in something that's not really testable in any way, or at least just kind of comes from thin air. I mean, you can use that thing and pull it from thin air at any point to explain anything. And so that's a good thing. I don't think like you should feel stupid. You should feel really smart for having figured that out. Because I don't think, I mean, I don't know the percentage, but I don't think a lot of people do that in their lives, or even think about that, or it doesn't come, cross their mind in any way. They're not presented with it by another person. So you shouldn't feel stupid.
Yeah. And we do a lot off of pattern recognition, and critical thinking takes a lot of effort and skill. So congratulations on coming out of it. And don't think of yourself stupid. You got wiser, you got better. And that's all we can do is continue to improve ourselves.
Yeah. We're going to try to fit in Dwayne here, but did you want to try to at least since I cut you off, just continue with wherever you were?
Yeah, I have a couple highlighted things that I can just quickly talk about.
Sure.
I guess one thing is that every time I sinned, I was told that I was hardening my heart to Jesus by these cult leaders. But I realize now I was actually hardening myself, like hardening my heart to myself and the things that I was as a person. And like another thing that they told me was that I needed to go out and street preach. And I was 15 years old. So when I realized that I was inevitably going to have to follow Jesus like they did and everything, if I didn't want to burn for all of eternity, I got to a point where I was like, well, I just want to if I start following Jesus, I just want to get shot in the head so I can just go to heaven and be done with a miserable 80-plus year life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a horrible thought to have as a teen.
Yeah, because at every moment you're probably questioning any decision that you ever do and whether or not that sends you down the path that you're most fearful of. I mean, I get that completely.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah,
well,
I'm definitely.
I think it's a good thing that you have a more defensible position than something like that. So.
Absolutely, I definitely still have scars from that, like mental scars that I'm still dealing with, but. I know it's your show, so I don't want to take up too much time, but I really just wanted to share my experience, I guess you could say, with religion, but more specifically a cult, because I recognize that Christianity is not like that typically.
Right.
Sure.
Although they do hold the idea that, I'm still going to go to hell, apparently, but,
Well, we're all going to hell in somebody's religion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're all going to.
Exactly.
I mean, hey, well, at least let me tell you, I appreciate you sharing that with me and Jim. That's something
Absolutely.
I come from a different background. It wasn't really religious at all. So it's very intriguing to me because I don't have any insight to that. So I appreciate you sharing that with other people, because other people they might actually be struggling, and that what you said might be resonating with them. So we do appreciate that. It is valuable.
Yeah. Well, thank
you
Tyler, so much for
thank you so much. Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you.